met with the media and announced a very major project undertaken by Dr. Manmohan Singh's government, for which Mr. Narendra Modi's government is taking the credit. So I want to start by recalling that project. It was the Kaladan multimodal transportation project. India built a port in Myanmar, the Sitwe port, and from Sitwe to Paletwa in Myanmar, there was a inland jetty, and from Paletwa to Zorinpui, on the border of Mizoram and Myanmar, there was a highway to be constructed, and from the border Zorinpui to Aizawl, which is probably a distance of about 90 kilometers, a highway was to be constructed. Basically, to provide access to Mizoram and to the rest of India. This was a major project initiated by Dr. Manmohan Singh's government. I myself went to Sitwe in June of 2008. We launched the project there, and I'm glad to say that the port is now commissioned. And the connectivity from the port to Aizawl through a group of highways remains to be built, but I'm confident that this is going to be built. I just want to begin this press conference by recalling this because this was one major initiative taken by Dr. Manmohan Singh's government in 2007-2008 for improving accessibility and connectivity of Mizoram, of the Northeast in general to the rest of the country. Now, I want to raise four basic points with you. First, the 2023 assembly elections in Mizoram are a very crucial turning point in Mizoram's history. These elections are basically a three-horse race. You have the MNF, you have the Indian National Congress, and you have the ZPM. It's basically a three-horse race. There are three parties who are serious contestants in these assembly elections. Now, there's a ghost party. That ghost party is the BJP. And the power of that ghost over the MNF and the ZPM is very well known to all of you. Basically, the ZPM and the MNF are gateways for the BJP to enter Mizoram. The BJP strategy in Northeast has been to put up regional parties to come to power and use that power to divide society. We have seen this in Assam, we have seen this in Meghalaya, we have seen this in Arunachal Pradesh, we have seen this in Nagaland. Most recently, we have seen it in Manipur. And Mizoram is going to be part of the same strategy. The MNF is part of the NDA. Mr. Zoramthanga has not walked out of the NDA. I mean, he says he is independent of the NDA. But he attends the NDA meetings. He does not protest when his MPs are not allowed to speak in Parliament. In fact, the mic of one of his MPs was switched off when that MP wanted to speak. So the MNF tactically now says it is independent of the BJP, but we all know that the MNF and the BJP are two sides of the same coin. The ZPM is a relatively new party compared to the Congress and compared to the MNF, but it has no program, no organization, no ideology. Its only rallying point is you've tried MNF, you've tried Congress, now try us. This is not the time for experimentation in Mizoram. It's a crucial moment in Mizoram's history. The divisive politics of the BJP is dividing society. It's dividing society on religion, it is dividing society on ethnicity, it is dividing society on language, it is dividing society on cultural traditions, and a vote for the for the ZPM and a vote for the MNF is basically a vote for the BJP. So this is the first point I want to make to you, that this is a very crucial moment in Mizoram's history, when you have three parties contesting. Two parties are really controlled, remote controlled by the BJP, the ZPM and the MNF. Whatever they say, they may claim that they are independent, but all the evidence shows that they are basically remote controlled by the BJP. And they are backdoor entry points for the BJP. Now, the second point I want to make to you is that these elections are crucial because Article 371G of the Indian Constitution. This is the Indian Constitution, and I am referring to Article 371G. Now, the BJP and Mr. Modi removed Article 370 in the Indian Constitution. A government and a party that can remove Article 370 can also remove Article 371G. Now, what does Article 371G say? Article 371G of the Indian Constitution was inserted in the Indian Constitution in February 1987, when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. And the peace accord had been signed between the Government of India and the Mizo National Front of Mr. Naldenga on the 30th of June 1986. And Article 371G says, no act of Parliament in respect of religious or social practices of the Mizos, to Mizo customary law and procedure. 3. Administration of civil and criminal justice involving decisions according to Mizo customary law. 4. Ownership and transfer of land shall apply to the state of Mizoram unless the legislative assembly of the state by a resolution so decides. Article 371G is a special provision introduced in February of 1987 to protect Mizo customs, to protect Mizo traditions, to protect Mizo language, to protect Mizo culture, to protect the Mizo way of life. That Article 371G is the greatest contribution of the Indian National Congress, and that is under threat. As I said, Article 370 for Jammu and Kashmir has been removed. Article 371A for Nagaland is being negotiated. So it is only a matter of time. If the BJP has its way, it will reach after A, B, C, D, E, it will come to F and G. And G is directly connected with Mizoram. So the Congress party, in my view, is the only party that will protect Article 371G. The MNF will not protect you because the MNF is basically dancing to the tune of the BJP. The ZPM will not protect because it will ultimately dance to the tune of the BJP, whatever it says today. So, to protect Mizo customs, Mizo traditions, Mizo way of life, Mizo culture, Mizo language, Article 371G has to be protected. Article 371G has to be implemented in letter and spirit. And this is a direct outcome of the historic peace accord of 30th June 1986. So the Congress is the only party, is the hand of sensitivity and experience that knows and is sensitive to the aspirations of the Northeast, particularly. There are special provisions for Assam, special provisions for Manipur, special provisions for Nagaland, special provisions for Arunachal Pradesh, special provisions for Sikkim, and there are special provisions for Mizoram. So these are under threat because the BJP's policy is very simple: one nation, one language; one nation, one culture; one nation, of course, we know one nation, one tax, but one nation, one language; one nation, one syllabus; one nation, one culture; one nation, one religion; one nation, one leader; one nation, one party. This one policy is the BJP policy. So this is the second point I wish to make. The third point is that the MNF has failed miserably. It has now been in power for 10 years. It's a long time to judge a party. And it is absolutely shocking that in the last 3 years, 3,500 crores of money, which is due to Mizoram legitimately by the central government, Mizoram has not got. The MNF is part of FTA. And yet, Mizoram has been denied in the last 3 years 3,500 crores, at least 3,500 crores of legitimate grant which it could have got from the center. Agriculture budget has been cut, education budget has been cut, health budget has been cut, and with great fanfare, the Chief Minister announced some time back SEDP, Socio-Economic Development Program. But at the end of 10 years, SEDP stands for States Empty Development Promises.
5 years.
Last 5 years, sorry. But you take the last 10 years, but the last 5 years, sorry. So the SEDP has been a colossal failure. You look at the allocations under the SEDP, what should have been allocated, what has actually been spent. This record, we have already, my party has already issued a charge sheet of record of failures of the MNF government. So I don't want to repeat the main points there, but I want to stress the fact that legitimate grants that the state government could have got from the central government, they could not get, in spite of being part of the NDA. Finally, my fourth and final point is that the Congress party has already put out its list of promises. We have promised a new deal for agriculture and horticulture. I remember I was Commerce Minister, and when I came to Mizoram, when I took over as Minister in 2006, we had started providing assistance for ginger cultivation, for passion fruit, for oranges, for anthurium, and of course, subsequently, grape cultivation that took off in the state. We have promised a new deal for horticulture and agriculture in the state. There is tremendous potential for horticulture in Mizoram, but what Mizoram needs is aggressive marketing. Whether it is ginger, whether it's passion fruit, whether it's dragon fruit, whether it's anthurium, whether it's orange, whether it is wine that is produced here, marketing in other parts of the country is absolutely essential so that the income of farmers in Mizoram increases. And we have made a number of pledges on that. A second very important pledge we have made relates to health insurance. We have said that every citizen of Mizoram will get treatment up to 15 lakhs of rupees. They don't have to pay. The government will pay. It's free treatment virtually for 15 lakhs in hospitals in Mizoram. We have made a promise on gas cylinders. Today, a gas cylinder, I believe, here in Mizoram, the price varies across the country, but I believe here is between 1200 or 1400 rupees a cylinder, a 14.5 kg cylinder. We have promised to cap it at 750 rupees. It's a very important, very significant pledge that we have made. We have implemented this in Karnataka. We have implemented this in Rajasthan. We have promised this in Madhya Pradesh. We have implemented this in Chhattisgarh. So we are talking from experience. We are talking from a record of implementation. So the health insurance up to 15 lakhs, the new programs for marketing and cultivation of horticulture, the reduction in the price of the gas cylinder to 750 rupees a cylinder. These are some of the major guarantees that we have made to the people of Mizoram. And of course, there are other promises in the field of education, employment, and health. And I think our PCC president has already met the press and made this public. We are serious about the implementation of these guarantees. As I said, we have done it in the states where we are in power, like Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. We have promised in Madhya Pradesh, we have promised in Telangana, and we have promised this in Mizoram as well. So let me end by saying that the Congress has been out of power in Mizoram for 10 years. But we believe that the time has come. Sorry? Oh, sorry. We were 2018 and 2023, now 23. Onwards is the new election. That's right. Arithmetic. Yeah. So we believe that the time is right for a change in Mizoram. And as I said, and I want to repeat, what happens in Mizoram is of great importance to the rest of the country. Mizoram may be a small state, geographically distant from the capital, but what happens here politically has great relevance not only for the Northeast but also for the rest of the country. And we have seen in recent times how the BJP has used the government, has used its ideology to divide people. And the Northeast has particularly been the target of this divisive politics. Mizoram is a cohesive society, it's a homogeneous society, it's a peace loving society. And I think both the ZPM and the MNF are basically entry points for the BJP in the politics of the state. So, to preserve and protect Mizo traditions and the Mizo way of life, and to bring Mizoram into the national mainstream, only a national party like the Congress can guarantee this. And that is the main message that I wish to convey through this press conference. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has already come. Uh, there are other leaders, Shashi Tharoor, Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi will also will come. Uh, for us, Mizoram is as important as any other state election, whether it's Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, or Chhattisgarh. Because for us, really, considering all that has happened in the Northeast in the last couple of years, and also in the past couple of months, particularly, a, a vote for preserving traditions, customs, cultures, as guaranteed in the Indian Constitution, is absolutely essential. So I'd gladly take any questions that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will please raise your hands. We will take as
Do you think like the project came out from yes, respects?
Yeah, you can use. I mentioned to you the Kaladan project was really born when Dr. Manmohan Singh had a meeting with all his colleagues